Morgan sneaker room. So much soul, about to bust out the room. All different flavors, way more than 32. From these shoes, you can't mess with these dudes. Nike Reeboks, about Saucony. Golden Goose is on dude.
What is going on, everybody? This is Soul Brothers with your hosts, Morgan Sneaker Room and Flexx Luther. And you hear me doing the intro today because this is a special day for me. We have got Jason Faustino in here. He is I believe is the director of collaborations at Saucony. Is that right?
Senior manager, but
senior manager of collaborations at Saucony. And we're just happy to have him here today. Jason, give us a little bit about yourself, kind of give us a little introduction, tell us how long you've been with the brand, and yeah.
Yes, sir. So December was 5 years at Saucony. I've been back and forth. I think I've had 5 moves within Saucony between marketing and product, but mostly over the lifestyle, or what we call originals. Saucony Originals is like lifestyle part of the business. But as I've kind of transitioned into collaborations the past, I don't know, 4 years. I mean, it's not even the past 4 years. Like the majority of my time of collaborations, it's not just lifestyle collaborations. It'll be on performance stuff as well. So, yeah, that's my Saucony history. And yeah, when I came here 5 years ago, I came as a long time, I had similar, like why I kind of really got into your content, Morgan, when I first was like on TikTok and whatnot. Well, one, because it's funny, but two, I was like, this is nice when I get to see somebody's sneaker collection that looks similar to mine. Like I 100% have a lot of Nike and Jordan and crazy stuff, but like I have a lot of everything from, Vans, Asics, New Balance, Saucony, Reebok, so on. Like I just into a lot of brands, or at least a lot of the classics. I did find when I went to storage like not too long ago, sometime last year, I found all these Supras and I was like, what was I doing? So I had to clean up some stuff, but yeah, I'm just into a lot of different sneaker brands. So I've always had a soft spot for Saucony. Personal relationships, it's a brand that always was just good to me. Had a lot of good people that I've met throughout my career. First time I ever sat in like meetings with a brand as a sneaker store employee to give my opinion on future product that was coming out was with Saucony. So maybe that stuck with me a little bit. First running shoe was Progress Triumph 4. So that was another one that stuck with me. I'm a underdog type of person. Whether it's, I don't know, the wrestler I root for, my hockey team, I guess the footwear brand and like even clothing brands, I tend to root for a little bit of an underdog. And yeah, I was exposed to this stuff even deeper with Saucony during my time at Extra Butter, like co-founder, like every role at the business as an owner, creative director, HR, like every, open, close the shop, everything possible, buying, for like 10 years, basically. So, yeah, I got closer and closer to Saucony and eventually wanted to see what was life like on the other side. And one day the Saucony opportunity popped up. So that's what brought me there. Former product line manager Eric Smolin, who's at 47 now, but he brought me in. It was great. The opportunity was mostly like what I wanted because he said that Saucony was going to start opening the archive, and I knew that the catalog is deep, and I've always said they have like the craziest, if not best, catalog. If they start going into those styles, they're going to do really well for themselves. So I like being a part of that. And then also this is like smaller. It's a little bit intimidating for me going from outside of corporate into corporate. And when he told me like the team is really small, like you're coming in as a marketing person, but there's only like a product person and a designer. So you kind of get involved in all aspects of it, which is what I wanted because I didn't really think I fit on one side or the other. So that was the big draw for me to go to Saucony. And yeah, I've been here since then.
That's
I like
awesome.
it. I like it.
I personally, I love what Saucony is doing. When I got into Saucony, it was basically Shadow 6000, Shadow 5000, Grid 9000. And then maybe every once in a while you get a different, you'd get a different model like the Courageous or something like that. But now, you brought back the Spot Built. You brought back, all sorts of stuff. The Grid Shadow 2 is a great sneaker. Or Shadow Grid 2. I always get it mixed up. Which one is it? It's Shadow.
Big Shadow 2. Yeah.
Grid Shadow 2
Our names are complicated.
but I mean, you're doing incredible things, but we'll get into that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
The first question that we always ask is, what did you put on feet today? So Flex, we're gonna let you go first, man. I don't even think we've heard you yet.
Of course, let me go first. Just to throw this out here, it's like a foreign language hearing you guys talk about styles and the silhouette. So I'm just now really getting into Saucony. I just stopped calling it Saucony like maybe a year and a half ago. So and I'm gonna give all the thanks to Morgan. I ain't gonna front. I'm on my third. Yeah, I have my third Saucony pair in my collection. But I think I found my favorite silhouette, which is you mentioned it, which is the Triumph 4. I love the way that looks. So I'm looking for a clean colorway to grab that one in. But what I went with today was none other than the Saucony New York Cheesecake. Love this. I'm pretty sure I seen this on Morgan's page.
You did.
And yeah, so I seen those and I'm like hating. I'm under the comments like, yo, those are trash. But I'm sitting there, got a right tab clip. I'm like, yeah, where those at? Oh, I found them. Love the box and just, I love the insole. Like we was talking about what is a Flexx shoe and what is a Morgan sneaker room shoe. And I was telling him like, I love a shoe that has a good story, some great packaging. And this does it. So definitely went with this pair. That was what was on feet today. Clean pair.
Very clean.
For sure. Jason, just because we were gonna have you on today. I mean, we're not dumb. I did the Shadow 5000. This is the Google Out VHS Air. It took me a long time to actually find these for a decent price. When they first came out, I was not able to get a pair on the website. I was just getting into Saucony around this time. Were you with the company with this collab?
Yeah, you want to know what's funny with it? Yeah. So obviously love those with my love for movies. That's how Extra Butter came about.
Yeah.
So I put those aside for me. But like when you work at a store, or when you own a store, you put stuff aside and then you buy when you get around to it.
Yeah.
That was one it was there, but I didn't like rush to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more for what it represents than I didn't need it on my foot like right away.
Right.
But by the time I left, I was like, oh shit, I left those. Those are back at the store. I forgot the cop before I left. So it haunts me a little bit, but I'm glad you were able to find them. Those are incredible. Yeah,
for sure. I'm the type, if there's a sneaker that I miss out on, like I will hunt for it for years until I get the price I want.
Yes.
I will find that sneaker.
I love the persistence.
Oh yeah, for sure. Jason, what'd you wear today?
I'm going to be honest. This is, so one of them I started with a pair and I left them at work and then I wore something that people don't know about. So now it feels like I did it on purpose, but I didn't. So I wore the new Endorphin Pro 4s. They're all orange. I was wearing like a pretty tonal outfit. And I just popped like the orange at the bottom. If you don't know what the Endorphin Pro 4s are, they're like our top of the line running shoe. Mm-hmm. They have a carbon plate inside of the footbed and like this crazy super foam. They're considered like super shoes. Like our top athletes in the world, not just Saucony athletes, like other top athletes in the world, they literally report that they beat their previous running time or like they can run a faster marathon in these shoes. And I totally get why. The shoes are super bouncy, springy, fast, light, all that stuff. But, and they tell you this and I knew this, but I didn't care. I just wanted to show people how they look on foot. Like, they look great. But people tell you, if you're not running in them, they're going to hurt your feet because you don't really need something as stiff as a carbon plate inside of your shoe on a regular. So by the end of the day, my feet were hurting. And I was like, well, if I change my shoes, I don't really have like a lot of shoes laying around the office in my size. But I had these 3D grid Hurricanes that we did with Packer that never came out, actually.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, they're really dope. We didn't have them come out because there was some like, it's not that clean right there, but you know, there was some kind of imperfections to the product execution that we didn't like, so we ended up scrapping it. But it's a really good colorway. I didn't, you know, when you sometimes it's like people do this intentionally to bring out the thing that no one has, and no one's seen it. But that literally happened because I just needed to change shoes, and I'm like, well, I don't really have anything here, but there are this pair that it never came out, so I didn't like wear it all the time or anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to be wearing something people don't have, and then they ask me about it. I'm like, it's not coming out. You know what I mean? But I needed to change my shoes, and that's what it was.
Yeah, for sure. Those, I mean, was that like a purple iridescent color?
Yes, it's got a lot of, it's really nice hues, I would say. Black, and I don't know if you call it like stone. It looks gray. It looks kind of, has like a purplish hue. There's this really nice slate kind of ashy blue. And this color has like a lavender-ish.
Yeah.
And it's on here too. It's like really subtle, but up close, it's really, really nice. It's got a lot going on, but it's totally wearable. So it ended up being a good like emergency shoe situation. And now they're on my feet for the first time in like 2 years.
So when a shoe doesn't release like that, right? Because I'm sure you get a ton of shoes that don't release. What is the feeling like? What is the, you know, is Packer upset, or is it just like an understanding like, hey, this is business, this didn't work out, this was a defect? What is that like?
It is definitely tough. I mean, you know, they're really good. That only took, I think, 2 rounds of sampling. You know what I mean? But it's still a lot of work. That team, you know, comes up with a vision. They work with our team who help execute the materials, the color, you know, the whole shoe, basically. And so for it to not make it to the end because of some unforeseen, the whole issue was like it was supposed to start the launch of the 3D Grid Hurricane. And now you're missing that window. And so you know, people just, you know, some people react different ways to these challenges. Some people say, let's just put it on ice and like bring it back out when it's ready or when it breaks. And some people are like, we just got to move on from this one and go on to something else. So, you know, unfortunately, we just decided the easiest thing was to just cancel this one. But, you know, we still work with Packer. Like, they still carry us. They're obviously legendary in the game. So
100%. 100%. So with the 3D Grid Hurricane, I mean, that for me, when I kind of started not really paying attention again to Saucony, but like looking at the new stuff that was being released, it seems like there was like, it was going really strong in, you know, 2015. And then they had the YouTubers all came out and did the sneaker. Were you with the company for that?
No, I was with Extra Butter.
Gotcha. Okay. So they were really strong for a while, and then it seems like they kind of took a backseat, and now they're back strong again with the collaborations. But was there an intentional, like, hey, we're not just going to put these collaborations on the same models, like we're going to do the 3D Grid Hurricane? I think that was the first new model that I really noticed come out, like the 3D Grid Hurricane. The Bodega pair, was that kind of like the first iteration of like, hey, we're doing something new?
Yeah, I think the strategy as the brand, and then I think why I feel privileged and why I wanted this position to begin with is because like I worked very closely to those plans of what will be brought back. It's like not just identifying, hey, we should bring this back, but you know, when it's decided it's coming back and when it's coming back, you're able to plan like maybe this is a good partner to work with to help add energy when it's coming back. So there's like a strategy to it for sure. I mean, I say that like it's so casual, but like why that's so special is at other brands, sometimes you're not getting that. You know what I mean? Like a shoe is coming back from another brand and they don't really know about its plans until later, like in market. Like about it when it's ready to sell. And like the fact that I have a position at Saucony where I can see things holistically from A to Z allows me to get in at the appropriate times with the team. Say like 3D grid Hurricane is exciting. Let me show this to Drew and the guys at Bodega. Yeah. And they're like, oh, we are feeling that shoe. And then I'm like, you want to bring it back? You know what I mean? Well, Packer was like the one that were really on it. They were sort of like racing each other who could finish their design first. Bodegas, you've seen it. It's a little more complicated. It is.
I've got the Bodega pair. I love it. Really happy with that.
It ended up coming out later from when Packers would have, simply because it was a little harder to develop. But yeah, like that's how it works inside. If the way shoes come back, some people don't know, like that shoe came out in 1996 originally, but that doesn't mean the molds exist. So you can just like hit up, first of all, the factory that originally made them may not even exist anymore. You can't just hit them up and like, hey, can you make this shoe again? You have to make it from scratch. So like we work with, it's really cool. Like the engineering team, they will 3D scan it. They'll sort of like print out a new mold of it, and then the team will like reverse engineer it with the factory to make it look exactly like it did. And like originally, maybe they make some slight adjustments and improvements or whatever else. But while all that's happening, obviously I start to be able to figure out what the plans are. Why don't we bring this back in Paris during Fashion Week? Why don't we do a collaboration with this, this brand, this store, or whatever? So that's sort of the process. A little more science to it, but I'm giving the short version.
Yeah.
I like it.
Go ahead, Flex. You were gonna say something?
So one thing I wanted to ask was so you say you've been with Saucony for like 5 years, right? So I say like you got a year in, you're settled. Think back to then and versus now. I'm just not really getting into Saucony. Did you see like a change in demand for the brand, or like just kind of the exposure, new people coming in watching?
I don't know if this is going to sound arrogant, but I was like, I'll make that happen. You know what I mean?
Right. Get that. Confident. That's confident.
I get that. Yeah.
But I also know I can't, like, not just to big up Morgan, but like I know people like Morgan are out there. Like there's a fan base that wants Saucony to be great. And do good things. Like as he's pointed out, it's existed throughout time, and there's reasons why. Unless you're Nike, who sustains it forever, brands have ups and downs, and sometimes it's because of the people who are at the company coming in and out of the company and all the turnover that happens in life. And sometimes it's just how business is when you're not a giant like Nike, and can solve things easily with budgets and money and all that stuff. But I looked at it as an opportunity where I can sort of show what I can do to bring it to, make the diehard fan base happy, or try to at least, and then try to expand and reach some newer customers that if they were shown, obviously I've seen throughout the years, like the sneaker game just keeps growing, and people that are into sneakers at whatever level they are, I'm like, they can access a Saucony if we just speak to them the right way, so meet them where they're at, rather. And then the other thing, I'm not going to pretend like I didn't see this as like a huge, I guess, like an example of what we could be is New Balance, I'm like hardcore New Balance fan. I'm very, I was friendly with Joe Grandin and like still am, but like I was with him and friendly with him when I would hear him like think about what he wanted to do with the brand from a collaboration standpoint. And I was just like, and then I saw it happen. You know what I mean? It's incredible. Like he's turned so many new people onto the brand through his collaboration strategy and just obviously management of good product. But I'm just like, why can't it happen? You know, I just
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like they opened the door to show other independents and non-Nike brands that, hey, this is possible.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's a combination of those things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's kind of crazy to think about it because I've been collecting since 2012, and I bought my first Saucony maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So like you said, just bringing those new audience in and getting access, it can happen. Because I was like, I wouldn't say I was strictly Nike and Jordan, but I wasn't. I really wasn't checking for the brand. But it was not really because they didn't have anything that I liked. It was just I hadn't had the exposure.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, Morgan was the exposure. Like once I was like,
Yeah.
okay, wait a minute, those are some clean colorways, those are some clean silhouettes. Let me check those out. And like that first one with that New York cheesecake, I seen the details in it. I was like, yeah, I'm a fan. So
Well, I always say, that like your story is a common one. Obviously, we're a smaller brand, so people like Morgan that are like evangelists for what we do or what the brand has been over the years are incredibly valuable to us. But also, I put the onus back on the company. Like you said, you weren't checking for Saucony. I don't know if Saucony was checking for you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
were we
yeah. Oh
speaking
yeah,
to
I get what you're saying.
were we speaking to the same customer over and over again? Were we too focused on like the elite runner? And we should, by all means, we should be. A brand that's been around 1898 has made products for the best of the best runners in the world.
Yeah.
Year after year after year. Not easy, but it's bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. People like sneakers for all different reasons these days.
Yeah.
And so I'm one of those people that say like if you want to speak with those people, you got to meet them where they're at. You know what I mean? That's why I say like we need to check for you just as much as or give you a reason for you to check for us.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah, 100%. Like I noticed that in the last few years, Saucony started working with artists like Trinidad James, J Tips, for example. And those are just two examples of people I don't think Saucony was really working with 10 years ago, and so I think it's interesting that people are, there's definitely a shift there. There's a shift in who Saucony is trying to reach out to. Now, how do you reach out to, I mean, you can get the people on the coast, but how do you reach out to, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio? How do you get those guys? Iowa. How do you get the kid from Iowa wearing a Bodega Saucony collab?
That's a lot harder, like the one obvious way is you gotta get into those stores there. And, obviously I had a boutique that was on the coast, and those are the ones most people know.
Yeah.
Throughout the country, in the middle of the country, there's great boutiques. There's great boutiques that don't get as much love, but they're starting to get that love, right? Like when they do projects with the brand, even if it's not Saucony, with other brands, they start to get known. And then I think the most important thing, like what I love out of everything in life, this is sort of like a red thread that I just look for, is like that community tie-in, so it doesn't matter that Indiana doesn't have the same reach as like a New York has.
Right.
If that one store there has got Indiana in a chokehold, like everyone goes to that one spot, that's gold to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want to make sure you're working with those shops, obviously, that have that stronghold connection with their community. The other thing is you just have to make your brand like if the brand's not relevant, like what makes someone who is in wherever they are, Illinois, wherever, what makes them want to look for the brand, or then when you do travel when you do go to LA, when you do go to New York, what makes you want to look for the stuff that's not out where you are,
Yeah.
You have to be relevant in some way, shape, or form through just like straight up. They make dope products that hit with their colors and designs, or in my world a little bit more, they're working with some people that like mean something to them on their feed and their day-to-day interactions on social and whatnot. So
yeah, it's interesting. It seems like you really put the onus on Saucony to make these things happen. Like you take responsibility for the achievement and success of Saucony, which I like that a lot.
Yeah. I won't take all the credit for the achievement. There's obviously,
Yeah.
you know how things work. There's so many people behind
Yeah.
so many things. Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
like that movie. I forgot that Banksy documentary, but when you realize like the people who pull off a Banksy stunt, there's like an army, you know what I mean? And there's a bunch of ninjas in the cut, like making things happen, and that it's nothing. I definitely learned that at a footwear brand as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people behind the scenes doing a lot of aspects that you don't even think of that I'm like, damn, that would never happen without that person making it happen. So,
do you have a favorite collab that you've ever worked on, whether it was with Extra Butter or with Saucony?
yeah, with Saucony, I at first I thought it was, I'll say two of them. Like the Trinidad one is so special to me.
Yeah.
Because it was like the first from fully start to finish.
Yeah.
But then I did the Tombogo butterfly, and it wasn't an existing shoe. So it never, like, I've never seen that happen before.
That was a crazy shoe.
Yeah, like I literally worked on it from, there's nothing on paper, there's nothing in existence. We have to invent this and work together.
Yeah.
So those are my two, you know what I mean, that I think of in my head as signifiers, but obviously I have different relationships with all them. Like obviously J-Tips means a whole other world to me now. And then outside of it, when I was at Extra Butter, my favorite Saucony is definitely the For the People one, because I think that concept, that was my, I think I have a similar approach now when I guess if I step back and look at it, I wanted people to feel closer to this whole process. Yeah. And working with people like J-Tips and Minted is the same thing. Like it's giving people the feeling like they're part of this whole, you know what I mean? Like you're not just the transactional consumer at the end of the day. Like Marcus takes you along the whole ride with him. Like J-Tips gets a box for the first time and I'm like asking him, he has to confirm it. So I have to put it in the system, blah, blah, blah. And he already posted it online and everyone's celebrating with him before I even, you know what I mean? Like get to put it, like confirm it in our systems and whatnot. So I didn't really make that connection till now, but I'm fond of the Extra Butter for the People. And then outside of a Saucony collab that I worked on, the A6 karaoke one is so special to me. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm kind of melancholy guy. Like there's a million reasons why I was in a not the best mood or whatever when I thought of that, and my deep love for Lost in Translation, the movie, but like being able to take something sad but express it in a happy way, because like that movie is so sad to me, but I also experienced like the most fun times in life, like doing karaoke with my friends and whatnot. Yeah. And so I was like, I think we can make that experience for people and give them like, like some people who know the whole story will see like the emotional depth to it, but the other people will hopefully see a beautiful shoe and have like an amazing time at the party we throw. So, which did happen, you know what I mean? Yeah. That one is, even though I've done other things that people might think would be my favorite, that one's definitely my favorite.
The karaoke Jolat 5 is my first sneaker that put me on the Extra Butter. Because I mean, I'm from Indiana. I'm still, I'd been kind of looking around and seeing what else was out there after I got kind of tired of Jordan and Nike. And that karaoke pair was like, this is insane. And then when I saw the references, I was like it's spot on. And then you said the for the Saucony, what pair did you say for the Saucony Extra Butter?
For the People.
Oh, the For the People, man. That was another pair. That was just
Flex. Do you know that one?
I don't.
There's two.
I've shown them, man. I've shown them.
Basically, before, like, we got ahead of it all. And, we understood how long it takes to make sneakers. And I asked Saucony, like, what if we started something, like, 2.5 years in advance? Because I want to release something before November of whatever year it was. I guess it was 2016. Like election, I had election year in my mind because I knew it'd be a big time for people. But I flipped that into like, let's give people the choice, you know, and the power to vote. And this was before, you know, Instagram didn't have those voting tools. They didn't even have stories where you can click on stuff and you know what I mean? So we would literally just say like, here are 4 shoes that Saucony has in their line, pick which one. And people would put like A, B, C, or D in the comments. And we had to go through the comments and 50 people voted for choice B, you know, whatever. Like, so point is we let like almost every aspect possible of the shoe be chosen by the people who followed us. And like, there was no stories or TikTok. There was Vine. And I think we had to do live on Vine to like, literally the first time the sample showed up, we opened it in front of everyone who was on camera. We pulled it out. They saw it the same time we did. And then we like had to save all the comments and screen record the comments because they said this blue is too dark, or we should use the metallic back heel, not the suede, whatever it was. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the background. So it's not just the shoes. The shoes came out banging, but like, it was the process that I loved so much about it.
Like, it's the night of the movies, Paris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the night of the movie, Paris.
Drive-in, yeah.
What I enjoy most about this is kind of like discovering sneakers again. So like when you first start collecting, you find those pairs like, oh, what are those? What you know, I don't know what those are, but I like it. And like, I'm quiet because I'm soaking up all of it. Like I'm listening, like, okay, I'm gonna check that pair out. When I get off, I'm gonna look for this pair. I'm gonna see what it looks like. So like I'm in tune, guys. I mean, I'm like the audience. I'm listening, but that's just, you know, that's what I really like about this, you know, as far as just the sneaker community and just learning about another brand and really just digging into it and diving into the backstory. And I think, Saucony does a great job of like storytelling. All the pairs that Morgan's showing, the pairs I have in my collection, all tell a great story, and you can see that on the sneaker. Like it's everywhere, little small hints here and there, and whatever, you know, the name is or the collaboration or who they're tied into, you know, you don't really have to know the name because the shoe tells that story, and that's a flex shoe for me.
That's my favorite thing, you know. I think a lot of people probably relate, but even when I was younger, it was this times 1,000. But I'm like introvert, but again, times 1,000,000 when I was younger. Like you spoke through your clothing, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, gosh, if it was a girl, like anybody come up to me and ask me like, oh, what's up? How are you? I will probably freeze and not really know how to respond. But if they ask me like, oh, what are those? Like, and they're talking about my shoes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the whole story. I'll open up and it'll change everything. So, I do appreciate when things are rich in storytelling because I think it allows for that dialogue with
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's how me and Flexx really like got to know each other because we were both really into the storytelling and kind of the essence of the sneaker outside of just them as a product. And
it was fascinating to see. I saw a little bit of like back and forth, not on the same page. A little tension, but it was a good tention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flexx he was like open, but also like, but why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was great to see him open. It was great to see you teach. Like I think that's happening a lot now. For brands like Saucony, and I think that's so special. I guess in a store maybe you see that interaction between customers, but I saw that on TikTok between you two, which is cool to see.
I mean, it was a real conversation, and of course, dramatized for the internet. But people really thought that we had an issue with each other. I'm like, this is the internet, and we're talking about sneakers. Like, we're having a blast.
Yeah. But there were times where our videos would get reported because we're like talking junk to each other, and they're like reporting it on my behalf or reporting mine on his behalf.
God,
it was crazy.
They didn't pick up on it was all in good spirits. It was good.
The internet's a weird place, man. The internet is a weird place, as I've come to learn. It's not filled with real people, so everybody's a character on here. So I mean, even now, like we were talking about the Jordan 7 and the colorways of the Jordan 7. And another guy, he got pretty upset about it because we're younger than him. And we shouldn't be able to talk about the Jordan 7 like that, and we're just haters and all that other stuff. People said that I hate Nike, and I'm like,
your room is,
like, my Nike collection is probably bigger than most people's entire collections. So yeah, I mean, just being on the internet and being a voice and a face on the internet is it's a crazy place. I've had to kind of, learn how to roll with the punches. I used to take things really personally, but, I'm happy now. I'm happy that Flexx is into Saucony, and two, I'm happy that he's giving me credit because, a year ago he was into Saucony and not giving me credit.
He had to win. He had to win that. It was a tough fight. We were going back and forth. I'm like, bro, no, you did not influence anybody. I did this on my own. I found this pair on my own. But secretly, I'm like, yo, he didn't want to put me on this pair. I'm like, I'm gonna grab them, but I'm gonna wait like 2 or 3 months later. But oh yeah, I seen these and I grabbed them. Yeah, I posted those 2 months ago. I didn't see it. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
I think it was the brain pair. The brain pair from End. Was that the pair?
Yes. Yeah, that's my 4th pair. I got 4 pairs.
That's a great pair.
It was like, I don't know, 55 and sunny the other day, and I pulled those out. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of yours too?
I still got stress ball. I love stress ball. It comes with.
Man, you know what? That's stress ball.
I can get that.
You didn't get the stress ball.
It's somewhere in my daughter's room. She got hold of it, and it's somewhere in her room. But
see, look, I was gonna ask. We were gonna talk about that stress ball for the next 15 minutes because it feels different than other stress balls. It's something different.
Yeah, it's like a I don't know.
It's a little bit more spongy. He's looking at us like, what are y'all talking about?
Because you didn't get a stress ball or
no?
Really?
Because I didn't.
I wish I had mine.
I asked, I spoke with End and they sent me one. Like, I think if I bought one through like the site or something, I would have got one, but I bought it through like them directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no stress ball. I forgot about it till now, but I obviously remember all the photos and stuff. So
yeah.
And now I'm wondering, like, what the hell does this thing feel like?
It feels pretty good.
If you get your hands on one, man, it's the best stress ball I've ever felt.
You gotta find the source so you can do the Soul Brothers stress balls. You know what I mean?
That's not a bad idea.
That would not be a bad idea.
That's not
especially for the angry commenters.
Yes.
For the angry commenters. Here go a Soul Brothers stress ball just for you. Made just side, for you.
Buy one, we'll ship it to you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I've seen you guys work with companies like Color Plus Company and then still maintain those relationships with Bodega and Packer that we've been talking about. Like, who else? And the brothers, you brought them up, Minted. They're fantastic. Those 2 guys, I love the story that they tell. They're awesome. But like, what other companies, like, who else can we look for coming out, or like, who can you speak on?
Upcoming, one that's definite. There's 2 that's definite. One, I don't want to, because they're all more private.
Gotcha.
In the sense that they want to tell people when they're ready.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sometimes that's because there's like competition. Sometimes people just like to. I totally get this. I was similar until I have that pair in my hand and we know that it is definitely happening. Like the order is submitted. I don't want to tell people because it would suck if it's like not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So some people are for those reasons. So I'm not trying to be Katie. I want to tell you. Trust me. You know. But like that's why I'm thankful for people like Minted who already just tell the world.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Again, it's really cool to see them go through it and watch other people go experience them with it. I think, I don't know, giving people that exposure and experience is it's just the way it should be. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy. Like one of my best ever takeaways from extra butter. And this is actually the best. Like I remember when like come time to leave, it was hard for many reasons, but this was my takeaway, that the friends that I made at Extra Butter, and they were through the people that came in the doors shopping, and they're like my brothers, right? Like they're my brothers, sisters, like best friends for life. You know what I mean? People that have been to my wedding and I've been to theirs and all that stuff. So those relationships matter so much. And I think when people do things to cultivate the relationships through their work, like how Mint does, I think it's incredible. So I'm really excited for those guys. And then, when I'm looking for partners like that, like there's, you never quite know how it's going to go, but I do stalk people pretty hard before I like decide, like, I think this is what we should go for. But, it is crazy, like watching some of what they're going through as young business owners, hearing how they react to success, hearing how they react to diversity. It feels like I was supposed to work with them. Like, it's not a coincidence. Like, I don't even like, I used to think stuff like that, like, how the hell does that happen? Now I think I've just been doing it for so long that sort of magic does happen. Like, there's just, that's the universe working the way it's supposed to work. And, if anyone ever heard us over, whether we're on Zoom talking about our project or whether we just go out to lunch, people would be like, "How? It's so great that you guys found each other." Same with me and J Tips. Like at first, you just don't know, and then like you see certain things that you think you're connecting to, and then you think of, you wear your business hat, and you're like, "I think this would be good for these reasons." But the fact that I can connect so deeply and have such a strong bond with them, a strong relationship with them, and so many others, Jordan at Color Plus, Beema, like these are like life friends, you know what I mean? Like, connect so much deeper on. And I think when people are like that, it connects all the way through to then. It's like you guys, like your relationship's not forced. It wasn't because you're like, well, I have a big following and you have a big following on TikTok, so let's just like capital. Like a real relationship was birthed through this, and then it comes out in the end result, which is your podcast, like it speaks through to people beyond just like, I guess, the transaction of it all.
Definitely like some artwork, you just working your way up to a finished product. Because when I first came across Morgan, I podcast was not in my mind. I mean, he just got engaged, and I'm talking about going to his wedding and stuff like that. We
never even met each other in real life.
Yeah, so it's like, that'll be the first time.
Be the first time we meet each other.
Wait, you guys don't know each other? Like,
no,
we never met each other.
No. I'm from North Carolina. He's from Indiana.
Oh, so, shit. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been telling him I'm 6'4".
Now I've been telling him I'm 5'2", so we'll see. We got a pickleball match and tennis match.
We got pickleball. We got pickleball. We got tennis. All that stuff. But I definitely get it. Because I mean, the people who you're working with, I don't know much about the guys behind Color Plus Company, but I've got all three of their sneakers that they did. I love. Well, I didn't get the Jazz. I think it's the Jazz 91 or something like that.
Jazz 81, yeah.
Jazz 81. I didn't get that one, but I got the other three.
Yeah.
But with those other guys like Marcus and J Tips, they just seem like nothing seems forced. They seem like genuinely excited to be working with Saucony. I remember when Marcus, when he announced it on TikTok, he seemed like he was excited. It wasn't too cool for the moment or anything like that. He was like, guys, I mean, there's something to announce. Like, it was incredible. He just got the box in and he just showed it off. So, I think you're picking the right people to work with, people that speak to, their following. Cause I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know who J Tips was prior to the Saucony, collaboration. But like, when I listened to what people from New York were saying, it's like, okay, this guy's the real deal.
That's what I did though. A previous head of product asked me, he was like, "Have you ever seen this guy J Tips?" I'm like, I don't know him personally, but I see what New York knows. Like,
Yeah.
like this guy drops a hat and there's people outside like it's a sneaker. I'm like, what the hell's going on? This is just a new era hat. But you know, the more you look into it, like he put in his work and he changed the hat game, in my opinion, in a huge way. But yeah, like New York and the way they show up for him told me a lot, obviously, and that's why I was like, if you know him, like if you have he had a friend who had like they had mutual friends that they were going to introduce us. I was like, I'd love to meet this guy. He's great, you know.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, like, we connected right away. I could tell how well they knew they know their products, and like him and his friends, like they know the game. They also carry themselves really well, you know, and that doesn't mean like being like they didn't have to fit a code to be professional. They were themselves, but they just had like, they connect with people. They're real, genuine dudes, you know?
Right.
And then, this guy has crazy belief in himself, like, and is not arrogant. Like he almost knows like the stars were aligned for him, you know? And he says things, and I'm sitting there going, like, I'm gonna help you, but who am I to doubt this will happen? You know what I mean? This, he sees it this way. Other people are like, I always said, like, the Bronx is all rooting for you to do this as well.
Yeah.
Why can't it, at the very least, it's going to be special to him and his community. But I knew there was a chance that it would catch on bigger. You know what I mean? He's
that's what it felt like, man. When he released that first, the Gritazora, I felt like I was part of that community. Like I felt like, even though I'm sitting over here in Indianapolis, I felt like I was part of Bronx, and I felt like we were all winning together. And then once I started seeing the love that his collabs were getting from everybody else and people who weren't really checking for Saucony, that's when I was like, okay, this dude is like, he's really doing it. Like it's deeper than just Saucony lovers, and it's deeper than just the Bronx, and it's deeper than just, you know, sneaker lovers even. It's like, I'm seeing people who I didn't even, you know, think of having a sneaker collection who are wearing his collab. And it feels like we won. And I think that's a lot of, it speaks on what Jay Tibbs does, the man. He makes everybody feel like we're a part of the community.
I hate when I speak on it, because it sounds like it's like buzzwords and that I prepared on a PowerPoint, but that's not how I think of things. Like his familiarity gives people accessibility that I think is so needed in our world. Like I didn't think of that because of like the buzzword aspect of it. It's just like, inspiration doesn't just have to be one way. Like it is extremely inspiring when someone like Travis Scott gets his shoes. Like he does something, it's mega. It reaches everybody. Right. He got to flip a swoosh, like stuff that, you know,
nobody gets to do that.
Nobody gets to do that. You know, like, and then he gets the debut. Like, inspiration can work that way, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But you also know, like, you may never get closer than buying that thing online and winning a raffle. That might be as close as you can get. Yeah. And I understand, like, I mean, we didn't really know how it would work, or I did. Like, I didn't know that Jay Tibbs would sell out like that either. I mean, I knew it'd do well, but it was still important that he can inspire people because people saw a piece of themselves in him. You know what I mean? Yeah. And as much as I think that's special, and I know how much it, like, you can probably hear it, like, this is who I am. I came from social work before I got into sneakers. I mean, the Saucony Extra Butter product I'm so proud of is for the people. I'm kind of that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it happened before me. You know, when Bima was at Saucony, he did the project with the YouTubers. Like, while everyone was working with the biggest stores in the world, like, what was one of them, he threw a curveball and worked with guys that we were watching, Homer Simpson, and, like, you know, like, that was previous generation you guys. You know what I mean? Like, people you look to and are like, finding out a bit about new stuff, or even if you knew about it, you're just watching because they're so entertaining and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're entertaining about the stuff you like. So giving those guys a shot, I mean, it feels like it's part of the brand's DNA. And I know what I brought to the table. I absolutely know what I had a vision for, but part of that vision is probably connected to the what work has been before me, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just the thing. I mean, when I think about things that Saucony has done that have been, you know, pretty big, and not just the sneaker space, but just in, you know, kind of molding me as a sneaker lover. I mean, I think about that YouTube, you know, it's Saucony working with the YouTubers, because it's like, okay, they brought themselves to my level. Working with a J-Tips, working with a Trinidad James, people who we watch and have love or respect for. Instead of like, you know, we brought up Travis Scott earlier, like, love the Travis Scott shoes. I love that he has that opportunity, but it's like Travis Scott feels like a person who isn't living in the same world that we are, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's so special. I'll give Trinidad his flowers. Like, he's been in this game and relevant so long, which is hard.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can do that. And he's like done it in multiple things, not just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even tell me, and I knew him at the time. I go to see Uncut Gems, and this guy's in it. I'm like, bro, like, what else do you want to do? You know what I mean? Same thing with like, what do you mean you're managing Sexy Red? Like, I'm like, what? How many things can you do?
I didn't even know that.
I didn't know I was doing that.
I didn't even know that.
He's like super super into it, but at the same time, like you said, through Full Size Run and whatnot, this guy feels like I know him already. And he, like, we connected because he already was wearing Saucony and had a personal connection to when he first moved to this country. You know, that's the shoe he was able to afford. But then when we spoke, I was like, it does feel like he knows I've been watching Full Size Run this whole time, and we know each other. We didn't know each other, but it felt like we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was interesting. I mean, you can speak on Full Size Run, because I saw him in that the All Gold Everything music video, and then he kind of disappeared. And then I see him on Full Size Run, and I'm like, yo, this dude he's the same guy from the music video, but he's also not the same guy from the music video. And he's another guy I like. You just find these guys who they move to the beat of their own drum, or they march to the beat of their own drum. But they can connect with people, right? They connect with people. And I think that is what's making Saucony so strong right now.
Yeah. You should see how it feels like. This is not to throw shade at my own company, but, you know, they were used to Bodega, Extra Butter, Goodwill, those type of store collabs. And now I'm coming with like Trinidad James and J-Tips. You know what I mean? Like, some people not so sure. Like, what I mean, some people even, I think I like made this mistake. I, you know, like Google a video of him and like, like it was just, curse words like left and right. Like, I was like, okay, not that video, not that one, but not the latest one. Go back on video, you know, whatever. But once I brought him closer to the brand, brought him to the office, like brought him to company-wide meetings on Zoom, and people are like, they come off and they're like, I love this guy. You know what I mean? Same with J-Tips. The more people saw him speak and you hear him, you know, podcasts and whatnot, people love him. But like, by the time he came to, well, he was coming during COVID when no one was around. But then when he came, when like everyone was at the office after his shoe launched, like they all wore his shoe to the office, like the president was coming in today. Like, you know, it was so cool to see. But that's not even possible if they weren't so relatable and such great human beings. So
100%.
I think what's so special about these collaborations, I get a lot of pushback from Morgan and I guess because I found sneakers just from sneakers. Like my love for sneakers stem from the design. So I have something that's iconic and I'm like, well, I just liked it because It looks good. It's a nice colorway. And just like Morgan, I didn't know who J Tips was.
Yeah.
The shoe was what put me on to him. And, you know, that's what I love about sneakers, because it shows me, it put me onto someone. I'm like, okay, you know, I actually like his style. We were talking about Penny Hardaway, and we didn't know a lot of information about Penny. Well, there was a certain thing that I didn't know about him. And a lot of people were like, well, you don't have the right to buy his sneakers. And I'm like, that's what it's all about. These sneakers are telling their story, you know. And when you see the Remember Who Fronted on the back end of that first collaboration, that it's just it sold it for me.
Yeah.
And I feel a little uncomfortable giving Morgan this much credit.
But look, I'll take it, because
he was the one. He was the one that was like, you know what? This is something to look out for. And I was going to sleep. I wanted to grab the pair, but I was like, I'm going to wait, because maybe they're not going to sell out. But then he posted that bill. He was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to chance it. So I went and made sure I went ahead and grabbed my pair and got my pair. And we all can see, you know, the effect after the fact. But yeah, I think these collaborations that Saucony is doing in general, just for the storytelling, is something very special to watch.
100%.
That's him though. You know, he put that shoe together. I got a map, which is like basically the design on paper or a digital file. And all I can see is like there's a lot going on, you know what I mean? So you're like, the shoe's busy, the shoe's crazy, but I seen his hat, so like, you know, that colors are going to be right for him. And then I got closer to it. I was like, yo, he wrote Remember Who Fronted on this thing. I was like, and he had already.
I love that though. I love that he did that.
I had like chills. He actually had another pair. We sampled another version. It's another phrase he uses, forever on some fly, which I like that too. But I told him, I'm like, I never tell people what to do with their designs. I really believe in, like, I don't know, let people be who they are. Let artists do their thing. But I was like, Tips, you're doing the Remember Who Fronted one. Like, you gotta do that. I'm like, I'm sorry. It resonates too hard with me that I'm like, it's gonna be that way with other humans. It has to.
That one, it speaks to me. I mean, it speaks to me. I'm sure it speaks to Flexx. Like, we can all, as soon as we read that, I know somebody who fronted came to our minds. Like, we're all thinking of somebody who fronted.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
Maybe a long list.
A long list. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it I think just seeing that, it immediately turns you into like the champion of your own story, right? Because you're thinking about like, okay, all of these people fronted and I stayed true to myself. Like, this is fire. One last question, Jason, and then we'll get into the showcase, which surprise is going to be another Saucony, man. But do you ever push for movie themed collabs? Is that something that you're kind of like, well, hey, you know, I like this idea, but what if we tied into this movie or anything like that?
I don't anymore, because like I learned this the hard way at Extra Butter. You know, you couldn't get away back in the day with doing something inspired by. But I think maybe Extra Butter forced the situation, because we were doing it a lot, and I heard about some stuff that happened at companies. But basically, you know, as we were getting bigger, as the sneaker game is getting bigger, I think these film companies started watching out for this stuff, and they're suing people now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You can't really go do it without the threat of a lawsuit. And what happens, and I've experienced this on both sides at Extra and at Saucony, they're not going to sue the creative, like the collaboration partner. They're going to sue the sneaker brand. So the sneaker brand is on the side of telling people, I appreciate that reference, but you're going to have to find a different way to convey it. Like, we can't risk the lawsuit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I have to wear that hat now, unfortunately, but at the same time, like, I also respect, like, our design team, really small, but they're incredible. They do such good work. And I've designed, and, you know, just so it's clear, I don't physically design anything. You can't put it in my hand. I suck with drawing and art in general. It's just my ideas of like, this would look good here, that color there, this material would pop up like that. It's that, but I can't tell you it's good. And I did it a couple times at Saucony, and many times at Extra Butter. I let our design team do the thing now. If they ever say like we need a few more hits for an upcoming season, I will raise my hand and want to jump in there, and maybe or maybe not it'll be inspired by movies. You know what I mean? If it is, I won't be able to say it, so it'll just be like a roundabout inspiration. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So kind of like your last Saucony's or Extra Butter's last Saucony, the White Rabbit pair, right?
Yeah.
I didn't. How will I say this? So I didn't realize that was inspired by a movie. Or perhaps inspired.
No, I mean, I'd tell the story. Like it's so funny because it came out, and now I work at Saucony.
Yeah.
I was still with Extra Butter when I pitched Saucony to do this pair. Like,
gotcha.
I took the people at Saucony, and they had people visiting from the Europe. I took them to lunch, and I pitched them this idea, hoping they would think it was cool. They were like, yeah, they were gassed. So, but yeah, it was one of those things. Like, I remember so vividly. I don't know. I like thinking in the shower. And I had this idea so good that I was like, I have to actually stop my shower early so I can get out and like write this stuff down.
Yeah.
But like, it was basically the concept of Easter eggs, because I love how movies have these like, oh, did you? That ties back to this.
Yeah.
Like, even movies I'm not too into. Like, I don't watch too like Marvel stuff, but they got like crazy Easter eggs. It's so fascinating. Like it almost wants me to start watching them because I want to figure out all the connection points, and then like same with DVDs. Like I'm like a big physical media. If I like something, I want it physically. So like DVDs, I'd do it, and then I would like move the cursor all around the screen because I'm like, oh shit, secret menu here and blah blah blah. Yeah. And so I started that rabbit hole of looking at movies that had connections to different things. So what people don't know is The Matrix is the only one that saw the light of day. And they ended up connecting it to Alice in Wonderland, I think. But like really it was just The Matrix in general, and the White Rabbit was like literally on the Matrix DVD, which I took a whole course on on that movie in college. But you can find on the DVD a White Rabbit hidden somewhere on the menu, and it opened like all this extra content. But outside of that, there was two other shoes that never made the light of day. One, which was based on The Godfather and The Departed. And the reason I found those two to be connected is because in The Godfather, whenever there's like an orange, like a fruit orange, there is a death scene right after. And in The Departed, which is my favorite movie, one of my favorites of all time.
Love The Departed,
every time you see an X, and I'm a straight edge guy, so like I love the X. Like every scene there's the death, there's like an X somewhere in the scene. So it was really, I like that. And the shoe had elements of oranges and X's, but you had like actually the overlays had X's, and it just looked like a pattern. You didn't really know they were X's, and then if you actually cut it open, there was oranges underneath. There was another one which was the weirdest one. It was Toy Story, right? That movie. If you look through the movie, there's a lot of little things. It'll be like a car in Toy Story's license plate. It'll be the camera and the serial number of the camera, and it would say RM237, and that's room 237 of The Shining, and that's where like those two twins appear in that movie. And there's random things like the carpet and like Shining and Toy Story are oddly connected because the writers or whoever the creators of Toy Story like The Shining and have these little Easter eggs that point back to The Shining. I love The Shining. So then, we made a shoe that was like denim and sort of cowboy looking like Woody. The guy's name in Toy Story. But underneath it had like we put The Shining's that carpet, like the
carpet, because it's in Sid's house. They got it at Sid's house,
exactly. And I think we even had another tearaway, a scratch off part that said all work and no play makes Extra Butter a dull boy or whatever. Like the thing he was typing.
Wow.
So those never made it. And it was funny, like I was on the other side working with Saucony people telling us like this may be a lawsuit. Kids are going to use knives to open up their shoes and like to tear off the pads. Like the sample delayed so many times. Like now I'm working at the company and watching these things have already fallen off, and the Shadow 6000 was like the lone survivor of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I thought that shoe, I thought that you were on the Saucony side for that whole shoe, because it just came out recently, within the last 2 years, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I conceptualized and had our team design the whole thing. I pitched Saucony on it, went through numerous sample rounds, and then by the time I left for Extra, I was like, I don't know if it's coming out or not coming out. Then I'm working with Saucony, and they're like, it's they're still working on it. I'm like, it's been like 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was on the other side for it.
Yeah. It's an incredible shoe. It's an incredible idea. But this went by so fast, man. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do our showcase sneaker. Flex, I'll let you go first, man, because I got something good.
So I got the Good Azora 2000 Raised by Wolves.
Oh,
Love
we didn't
this
even bring
pair.
up Raised by Wolves today,
I
man.
know.
They've been doing a lot of great stuff.
They have been.
And this collaboration put me on those guys.
Yeah.
At Cork insole, we got the wolf teeth going here, the reflection, the blood splattered throughout the midsole, and my favorite part, the coin stock on the bottom is just
So
again.
It's incredible.
It's just those small details, and you're like, that's it. That's what I need. That's all I needed. So
every outfit, any day, that shoe.
Yeah,
It stays by my front door because I could put it. I literally, that's my most worn shoe.
Morgan, you got these?
I don't have them yet, man.
Wow.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Wait.
Leave me alone.
Hold on, I gotta soak this in. Wait a minute. You gotta
Leave me alone.
You gotta wait. So you meant to tell me I have a Saucony pair
Yeah.
on a Saucony episode?
Yes.
Oh man, this is a huge W.
That's a gem.
This is a
Shout out to
huge
W. They're great.
This is a huge W.
I bet this
like
clip
it.
doesn't see the light of day.
You must not know we have 2 editors, buddy. I'm gonna make sure it gets clipped. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's my showcase shoe. I don't know, man. This almost went to girl status, man. I got a pair that you don't have. Oh, man.
So that
Flex, I'll wear it tomorrow if you wear it tomorrow.
So, I won't be wearing it tomorrow, Jim. Why don't you just wait until I get my pair?
Unfortunately,
why don't you wait until I get a pair, and then we can all wear it the same day?
Oh yeah, okay. The person you have dialed.
Oh man.
So that shoe does remind me of a question, though, real quick.
Yeah.
I know at Raised by Wolves they did an Aya.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna be doing any more Ayas, man? Because that shoe I thought it was so clean, but it didn't get. I don't think it got a proper push.
It didn't get proper push, and I wasn't with the brand at a time where we can continue collaborations on it. Otherwise, I would love to. Just because it's just I think at the time, if it didn't hit right away, you had people that were like, "It's not working. Let's move on to something else," which sucks.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes things take a little while. Like, look at this. Like what what Flex is holding. Good Azora 2000s didn't hit right away. Right,
they did
even though Bodega did theirs well, but Bodega does everything.
Right.
But it started to really hit after Raised by Wolves, J Tips, and now I see people wearing this shoe all the time.
Yeah.
But I actually love the Aya. It's so comfortable. It's so lightweight. It's got a great story. Like someone won an Ironman competition wearing those. It's cool, but the people have to kind of all the trend now is more on that. Like Flex pointed out, Triumph 4, the later 2000s.
Yeah.
So we'll see how things move.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I'll do mine. I mean, this is obviously going to be a sneaker that Flex doesn't have, but my feelings are still incredibly hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's coming for me, but very uncommon for you, buddy.
So I brought the Shadow 5000. You know what these are, Flex?
Oh, those the burger joints,
These are
right?
the burger joints. These are the burgers right
Wow.
here.
I'm learning my stuff.
You are learning, man. This was like when I first got into Saucony and was like looking and doing my research, and I saw this right here. I'm like, yo, it looks just like a burger. And then I saw all the other pairs that look exactly like the food it's supposed to be. I mean, they got everything from like ramen noodles from End. I think End is really they do a lot of them. I know. I mean, Extra Butter's got the the sweets. Which one does Extra Butter have?
Space.
Space
Yeah.
Snacks.
Yeah.
The
Space
Space
Ice
Snack.
Cream, Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this. I mean, even the box. The
Yeah.
box is great. It has the laces come in like condiment packages, which they got a mayo one, which I didn't know they put mayonnaise on burgers. It must be an England thing.
You don't put mayonnaise on your burger?
No, do you?
Yeah.
That's a North Carolina thing.
No, I do too.
Do you
I was
really?
gonna say,
Well,
who doesn't put
Is it
mayonnaise
East
on their
Coast
burger?
thing?
even at restaurants, like if
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who doesn't put mayonnaise on their burgers?
I don't put no. You put
What do you put on it?
mustard.
All right, Morgan.
You put mustard
All
on the
right,
burger.
but all right, you make it.
But there was
I thought you were gonna say something super common like ketchup,
Yeah.
mustard. Come on, what?
there was Flex. There was a sneakers collaboration with Saucony called the Carolina Mustard, and the collaborator was called Sneakers. I forget what the Jazz
Who's the
originator.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's original.
Yeah. I think you might like, man. It's a yellow sneaker. You might like that. So, yeah, that's
You
my.
know, you know what though? Just so you know, in South Carolina, they have their own mustard. I think it's
like
called Carolina mustard. Actually.
yeah, Carolina mustard.
That shit is bomb. It's kind of like barbecue sauce mustard. It's really good. It's sweet. It's tangy. It's a little spicy. It's really good. I'd put that on a burger, but not regular yellow hot dog.
You don't
Yeah,
put
no,
regular yellow mustard on a
I
burger?
hate mustard. I love honey mustard, but I hate mustard.
I don't hate it on a burger, but I don't
I hate
put
it.
it. I've put mayo.
I don't eat mustard on anything unless I catch a cramp.
What?
Yeah,
I've
you
never
use
heard it.
mustard for cramps.
Oh, I
You
didn't
play
know.
hockey. You guys don't get cramps on hockey?
I do. I'm just old man hockey man. Wait,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not playing hockey.
You eat mustard when you have a cramp?
That's, I mean,
It really is. I don't know the logic behind it. It's more
need
just
to
like
play
an old saying that kind of passed down, and like
Oh, that's good to know.
the sodium gates,
Yeah.
man. Ion channels and that type of thing.
I forgot you know this stuff. You went to college for stuff like this, right?
No, my tennis players, I make them put mustard packets in their bag. They have to have mustard packets in their bag for cramping. You're not about to lose a match because you cramp. Come on now. So yeah.
That's a good. I did not know this.
Wow.
So Jason, do you have a sneaker that you wanted to show the world?
Yeah, I didn't prepare, so I'm picking something that's near me, but it's a good one for sure. This is, I mean, of course, right?
Oh my god.
Oh,
This thing is. I'm still, when he designs this thing, I can't even understand. Like,
Yeah.
it looked like the one he leaked and put online.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we discussed that he would do it. I just didn't know it would happen when either he went to the bathroom or I went to the bathroom, and then it happened already. Like one of us got back and I was like, "Oh shit, it's online already."
That's
and blowing
crazy.
up, but it wasn't finalized. But the changes were so minimal.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's time to really discuss the sneaker, you'll see the details up close. It's so much. There's just so much more when you see it in person. But it was another one when he first did the color. I was like, "What the hell, man!" Like,
Yeah.
it's pink and blue, which we've seen from him before. But
Yeah.
how does it look so crazy now? Like it's
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
model, especially. It's really special to me because I think he was having so much success off of his first one, right?
Mhm.
He was about to win, maybe we didn't know yet about the award. No, we didn't know yet. but we knew end of the year he would be in the conversation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With stuff like that. And then I knew his Grid Shadow 2s were coming. And then I knew we had something amazing for the next year, which is going to be this year.
Yeah.
And when he showed it and the way that everyone responded, I was like, okay, he's here. Like everyone's already on this.
Yeah. Yep.
Like this is not even selling yet, and everyone's on it. So
absolutely.
and everyone's asking him for it. So I was like, okay, this is a special moment. And then, you know, we were able to, you know, get a few samples made in time for Paris, because we do, you know, business meetings and whatnot out there. And it was amazing to see him. You know, we're walking in Paris and people in the streets are yelling out, "Yo, Tips!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I met him for the first time, and as you guys already have picked up through online, he's just like how he is in person. Like he walks up and shakes hands and gets to know everybody, and it's great. And these shoes, you know, like what he really brought back for me, especially the more I got older, like I don't really want to be that noticed anymore. You know what I mean? Like I can nod into the influencer thing, and like I'm fine if no one talks to me. I'm really good like that. But his shoes are like neck breaker. You know, they're not like neck break. They're neck breakers.
Yeah.
So
everybody's
I
gonna
have
see
to be
them.
cognizant of when I wear it and when, because someone's gonna talk to you. You know what I mean? It feels good. It feels good when people see it, whether they know him or not, or know Saucony or not. Just the fact that they're that wowed by his color, his design, like. And then I say this on every podcast, so sorry that if it's like repeat to anyone that listens, but I find it still fascinating that this man looks through a whole Pantone book. A Pantone book is where you choose your colors. Like, you know, there's like 8 pages of pinks in various shades, and this guy has never changed the color after we picked it. Like a lot of times you get a sample back of a shoe and someone says, "Oh, I didn't think that teal would come out that dark on suede or that bright on leather," or whatever it is, and you adjust it. But this guy picks colors, and it's a lock. It comes back and it's perfect, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because he's made it happen with hats and stuff like that. But I just think that there's so many variables and different materials with sneakers that you won't know, you know. Colorways that, like when Flex said, you know, you like shoes because of its design. I'm so glad so many people, that's their entry point into sneakers. And that really gives credit to people that do really amazing, talented people that do incredible work in coloring and choosing the materials for sneakers. Because it is not as easy as like paint by numbers, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that come up that you don't realize are going to happen when it actually goes into production. So when people nail it and do it right, you're like, geez, it's a gift.
I think it's amazing because as loud as the shoe seems, it seems so subtle at the same time.
You can wear it with anything.
It's like, I don't know if the way it's put together, but like I have the Kamikaze Candyland, and the colors on those are very wild. And like, no matter what I put on with it, like I cannot like take away from the shine. Those, they just always stand out. But if you look at the Grid of Zora and the J Tips collaboration, it's just kind of like you can just still throw it on, even with all the different materials and patterns and colors. It's still just, you know, it breaks the neck, but it's also very easy to keep staring. It's not like, ooh,
it's easy to digest, even though there's a lot going on. It's like, it's easy to digest.
When this comes out, I'm going to tell him, 1, to listen because I said nice things about him, but 2, I'm going to tell you need to talk to him because it's pretty fascinating to like hear how he thinks of things. And I don't know, sometimes it's like he says it's like there's a method to my madness, and sometimes it just comes from a pure place. Like he has a vision and he just knows how to execute it.
We would definitely love to talk to him.
At first that was my concern. I was like, you know, I know his fan base will like it because it's crazy. But I was like, it might be too crazy. I know I'll like it because I like crazy shoes. But then once I got it, it's so wearable. I wear it with anything, actually.
It's just like, dope.
You have like a release time frame?
Yeah, late summer.
Right click, save.
Yeah, summer. Stay in touch though, guys. Like I'm not just saying this for whatever. Like I really like what you guys do. I really like the people you guys are.
Appreciate it.
Happy happy to gift you when I can. You know what I mean? When I have stuff. I really appreciate this opportunity. It makes me feel good about like I do work hard. So when I get to speak on it and then even look back on stuff that I forgot about, it's definitely rewarding. So thank you.
Well, man.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you coming on. Like I said earlier, this was a big day for me, being able to talk to you. I know that we talk back and forth and we interact on social media and stuff. And I try to tag you in my content about Saucony and try to make you laugh a little bit and stuff like that. So just really, really happy that we finally get to have a conversation. And I'm happy that Flexx, man, I'm happy that you were here. You know, well,
definitely.
Because you do all the you do all the back end stuff. But
the only thing we're gonna talk about is me having a period that you don't have. We don't care about all that other stuff. That's the golden one.
Clip he chops off for TikTok. Like
absolutely.
I'll do it.
Definitely.
I'll make it good.
You gotta put like the glowing light. You gotta get you gotta get it all there. I want it all there, bro.
Look, I found all the CapCut tools, man. I know.
You guys know. Whenever I started to look into, I was like, oh, what is it like on their podcast? When I found the twerk horse,
everybody loves the twerk horse. The twerk horse. Yo,
it's funny, man. Flexx is just so country, right? And it's like he's on a, he doesn't care.
Look,
like
you know what the crazy thing about it is? I can't hear it. I cannot hear it. Like I call other people country. It's crazy. I know it sounds so crazy, but I call other people country. I'm like, bro, you are so country. And a couple of years ago, like I was dating this girl, and she was from New York, and she was like, you talk so country. And if I ever start talking like you, I'm gonna be so mad at myself. Because like you hang out with people and you start to pick up their mannerisms and stuff like that. So she like,
we about to get mannerisms. We about to get the way you just said mannerisms.
And I try to hide it. I try to like mannerisms. I try to hide it. But I enjoy it, man.
That never crossed
really
my mind, the country. Like I hear an accent, but it never crossed my mind. But when I caught it this like in real time too, I said, wait, what did he say?
What color was that?
What was that? It's so good.
Man, I love it, man. A lot of people be like, you don't get upset. I'm like, no, man, that stuff is funny,
that's what
man.
We do all the time.
With a lot of things in my life, man, a lot of people ask, to be upset about it. Like, being black or being country, I'm like, bro, like you can sit there and be mad about it, but you are what you are. So like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, bro, I am what I am, and I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to take, I'm going to make the best of it. I can sit here and be all negative about it, but what is that going to solve?
Let's be honest when it comes to this stuff, those ways that you just described, and other people have this in other walks of life too, that's like currency to other people. Mm-hmm. Like some people are making fun of it, but it's only a matter of time where people are emulating it and try to be that way. Whether it's whether it's cornrows or there's so many instances of what we could talk about. That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, a whole nother twerk course. That's a whole nother twerk course.
That it was too good of a moment and so natural. You should just
man.
When you do the stress balls, make it the twerkos colorway. Just make sure you own it because people like to look around and take things that they, you know what I mean? They take things that they see. Yeah. So, I'm glad you can roll with it and own it because that shit is, gold.
Absolutely, man. But it's definitely, I love this episode. And before we had you on, I was listening to other podcasts that you were on, and I know that you were responsible for the Raised by Wolves, and you were responsible for the J Tips, and it's real dope to sit down and have a conversation with the person that's as a moving piece in those collaborations. So man, I appreciate you taking out of your time and sitting with us talking sneakers. So definitely one of my favorite episodes.
No, it's such a pleasure for me. Keep doing it to the point where I'm worthy of bringing on again. I could talk to you guys all day, it feels like. So
I appreciate it, man.
yeah, we'll stay in touch about sneakers, about wrestling, all that. But
yeah,
I love it. I love
really,
it.
thank you guys again.
Who do you root for? Who was the underdog you root for before we head off?
Oh, for the wrestler?
Yeah, the wrestler.
Who was I rooting for? Well, now it's our truth because he's just
Go
been,
ahead. I'll tell you a story.
I guess he's just trolling on people, but it's so funny. And I didn't realize he was out of, like, he wasn't signed for a while. So he had to make his comeback. And to make your comeback, like, you only get, the way it works, like, they don't give you all the screen time and all the highlight matches.
Yeah.
You got to kind of make yourself stand out and get the fans into you, get them engaged. So I'm rooting for him. And then on the women's side, she's not an underdog anymore, but, I watched her when she was on NXT, which is like their minor leagues. But Bianca Belair is like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
She's just so talented and amazing to watch. She's so much charisma and she's so strong. I think she's going to be a champ one day, but she, she's still in the minors. But then it happened really quickly. So I love seeing that arc, right? When someone makes it all the way to the top.
Yep. So now she's on the cover of the newest game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
which is
racists came after her and whatnot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love that's the WWE. Like, it looks like they got like a family. Like, all the women and men and like all the other wrestlers stood up for her. So that was good.
Me and R-Truth actually go to the same gym. So
What?
I see him from time to
Really?
I see him from time to time. Yeah, he's from North Carolina.
Yeah.
And me and him go to the same gym, and I see him from time to time, but I don't want to like fan out. So I just be like, it's R-Truth, it is what it is. I'm just gonna make sure I get this, I want to get hung, and R-Truth is watching me, so I push through that. But I don't think I have an underdog. I don't think I have a Chad Gable. I feel like he should be going to WrestleMania, fighting for the Intercontinental title. But
If not is there a tennis player, Morgan?
Well, I mean, all my guys have retired. I was a big Nadal fan. Is there really an up-and-comer? I mean, any American who does well. There's a young American named Ben Shelton, just American tennis is so shaky. But right now I like Alcaraz, who's one of the top guys. I was gonna say I'm not a big Djokovic fan. I'm gonna put this on wax. I can't stand Novak Djokovic.
Same.
I think he's arrogant. I mean, he's just the tennis version of Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah.
I had a feeling. We have that in common. I'm rooting for the up-and-comer or someone who deserves the shot,
Yeah, I think it was last year's U.S. Open, Chris Eubanks he'd been playing in some low-level tournaments, and then he decided to go to, commentating, and then he got a seat in the U.S. Open. He made it to like the quarters or to the semis, and that was really cool. But there have just been these Americans who you think are going to do great ever since Agassi retired, and they've just kind of flopped.
Speaking of, this is the first podcast I think I've ever done that didn't do the whole. What was the first pair of sneakers that got you into sneakers? Because I've told the Agassi story so many times.
Yeah, we've heard the Agassi story, man.
It's a lot of people's story. It's not just mine, but like, I love it. Don't get me wrong, and I'm excited. Yeah. I heard they're coming back, which is amazing.
Yeah,
but I was having when you were telling me how like we're gonna set up and what we're gonna talk about. I was like, we're not doing the whole, what was your first sneaker thing? I was like, okay, cool.
Nah, we've heard all those stories, not just from you, but like from everybody. Matter of fact, you probably just did that. You just had that same question a few weeks ago. So from one of our contemporaries, our guy Haas, who kind of got us into the podcasting space. So
did you hear he threw out a challenge on that?
To us?
I forgot what we were talking about wrestling. He's a big wrestling guy, but then
Yes.
he was talking about tennis or people, and he was like, "Oh, I think
I did hear that.
Yeah, he said we could
Yeah.
take Morgan, and I like went along with it, but I was like in the back of my mind, I was like, no, I cannot run side to side like that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, people don't understand. See, Flex thinks that he can beat me in tennis or pickleball.
I promise you.
You don't understand.
Look,
when I say that tennis is the hardest sport in the world, tennis is the hardest sport
Have you ever
in the world.
played? I don't know. You might. This might not be where you have you played badminton before?
Badminton? Are you asking me?
Yeah, with the little eagle, the bird.
Birdie?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I played it in like a high school's backyard. You know what I mean? Like during their graduation party.
So down here in North Carolina, that we put set up a little tent. We get in the grass and it gets real aggressive.
Okay, how fast does the birdie go?
I know where this is going.
Morgan,
I know where this.
You may beat me, but it's not gonna be the way you think.
It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly.
No. It won't be as ugly as you think it will be.
So
and you know what? You matter of fact,
the birdie goes one direction.
The pair that you don't have,
Well,
I'm lacing them up. I'm lacing them up. I'm lacing them up.
Okay. I'm just saying.
No more needs to be.
You can't
No
put
more needs to
spin
be
on
said.
a birdie. You can't put spin on a birdie, right? I'm 32 years old, right? My body hurts. I serve over 100 plus miles an hour, right? With spin. You're not touching that.
Since I have a mutual wrestling fan here, Hulk Hogan had a very, very simple move set, but it didn't change how legendary he was.
Okay, so look, man, we're an hour and a half in. We can cut this whenever. And here's the thing: I saw the match against Shawn Michaels, bro. I saw the match against Shawn Michaels, and he was going all over the place.
Dude, but there's a backstory behind that.
I know, because Shawn Michaels was mad
about what though.
Because I think like Hulk Hogan was supposed to relinquish the title, and then he was like, "No, I'm not."
Well, he didn't want to take the dive. He didn't want to look bad.
Oh yeah.
So Michaels oversold it, so it made him like he's like this.
Yeah.
When but it still again.
That's why Hulk Hogan's wife.
I got Michaels over Hogan any day.
100%.
Any day. Michaels is like that's Undertaker and Michaels for me.
When Shawn Michaels hit that sweet chin music, man, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you got a condition? I'm gonna beat you in the worst shape of my life. I'm gonna make sure I get in the worst shape of my life and still beat you.
Oh my god! No mustard.
No mustard. Yeah, it's gonna be a no mustard match.
Man, you gonna be using muscles you didn't even know you had, man. I promise you. You're gonna need that mustard. A nice little, yeah.
You know, hey, look, I'm gonna beat you real quick and then charge you for a private lesson.
Maybe that's what we should do. If I beat you, I get a free lesson.
Okay.
And if you beat me, I buy you a pair of stockings.
Those Raised by Wolves joints?
No, I'm not. I am not going to be the reason why you get those. You get them on your own. I will not be the reason why you get those. No. No.
I'm going to go over under games. Last thing I'm going to say, because this is ridiculous. Last thing I'm going to say, over under games, you're not getting more than... If you get a game on me, I'd be surprised. But I'm going to put the over under at 2. 2 games.
So, not really into sports. I don't know what that means.
Exactly. So you got research to do, man. I've got 20 plus years of experience,
bro.
I honestly hope there's other tennis players watching this that go, did he say, have you ever played badminton? That was
not the same, man.
Look, you ever heard the saying corn fed?
Corn fed?
Yeah, country corn fed.
Yeah.
Different type of strength. Different type of strength.
This is agility,
bro.
Man.
That's like that Brock Lesnar corn fed.
Yeah.
I used to jump fences and all that good stuff.
Brock Lesnar, is he still with the company? I heard he got in trouble. I heard he was with the Vince thing.
And guys, and that's where we're going to end it. Jason, I appreciate you coming through, man. Much love. It's been an honor. It's been a great episode. Morgan, close it out, man.
Yeah, hey, man. Thank you for coming by. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is I mean, this is a momentous day in Soul Brothers, in our
indeed.
podcasting history.
Indeed.
We've only been doing this for 3 months now.
3 months, 13 episodes.
And just being able to have a great conversation with somebody who's been in the industry for a long time and whose work we have both been looking up to, has been great. So I'm happy we made this work. We took it out of the messages and into real life. So I appreciate you coming by, man.
Same. Thank you guys, for everyone.
Yeah.
Love, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Soul Brothers. Soul Brothers. Retro 7, Retro 3s, Metallic 7, Retro 11, sitting on freeze. They got soul.